Welcome back to the Spirit Guide Daily. These are daily messages for the collective. When we are in a collective, we all share energy. So this is a timeless reading. There are all timeless readings. They will cross your path when they are meant to. This is a Starman Tarot. We're going to get a Making Magic card, and we're also going to get a Messenger Oracle. Let's get going here for your tarot today. Hey, please don't forget to subscribe. Helps my channel. If you like the reading, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. Let's get going with your daily tarot here. This is a great deck. For all my fellow readers, know that the cardstock is very stiff, and if you have small hands, it can be very difficult to shuffle. But it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. I have the Five of Swords in reverse, which can be an energy of defeat or knowing the battles that you are not meant to engage in. Like being able to recognize when it's time to turn around, walk away. The 8 card, the Strength card, that is the card for the Leos as well. This is the card of overcoming with compassion. It can be a card of courage. It can be a card of recognizing your own strength. And then I have the Seven of Cups in the upright, which is, sometimes it's a card for like fantasy and illusion. Things being in your imagination more than in the 3D. But it can also be a card of making plans, having multiple options. It can also be a card that is reminding you to be a little careful with your choices. If you're trying to overcome something, if you've been trying to heal something, which the Strength card is frequently about trying to overcome something, then understand that you need to be very cognizant of your choices going forward. And particularly with that Five of Swords in reverse, recognizing what you shouldn't do is as important as recognizing what you should do. So this energy today is telling you that you will have an opportunity to perceive the progress that you have made in making choices that serve you versus detract from your experience. Let's get a Messenger Oracle on this scene. 2, 1, and 2, and 3. Hey guys, don't forget to look for my new podcast, Logical Magic Examining Esoterica. There will be a link to it in the description box down below. Observe in silence. So observing in silence, that is such a good responding, not reacting energy. And why is it so important to learn how to respond, not react? Because then you are more control of yourself. This is a card of self-control as well. You are being advised to observe your own actions from a distance, meaning taking a greater perspective on things is quite frequently very healing, particularly stepping outside of yourself and wondering what you would think of your choices if you were examining the choices of another person. Because quite frequently we are much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on another person. And one of the ways to improve your inner dialogue is to take that greater perspective, to step outside of yourself with this observe in silence energy. The fox is very clever. The fox is able to figure things out. That is a great problem-solving energy as well. So one of the things this is saying is that although you have many options, you're much less likely to be drawn towards things that don't serve you. You've made progress. To please give yourself some credit for that. With the observe in silence energy, please do not discount the worth of balancing and meditating. Now, a lot of people who have, because so many people have anxiety disorders at this particular point in time, we live in a very stressful world, it can be very helpful to align. And because people who are anxious do not like to meditate, you need to find the energy that will work for you. Some people work well with grounding, like literally walking around in a park. Others need to do a chakra balancing meditation. They have ones out there that are 10 minutes and are guided. If you don't meditate well because it's hard for you to clear your mind, work with guided meditations, work with sound bowls. You can have them in the background as you do something else. Do not discount the worth of meditation simply because it might be a struggle, particularly this is an active imagination, which is also an active mind. Insight opens the third eye to strengthen intuition. So we've got 2 cards of strength, which is that card of, again, solutions that are not about brute force. It's not as much of a struggle. There's not as much conflict in your life. In your choices going forward, you're very self-protective. You're very good at understanding with this insight. You have better insight into yourself and to others, and into the ways in which maybe in the past you weren't your best teammate, meaning that you didn't. Sometimes we can pay more attention to when we're very intuitive or psychic, we can put a little bit too much weight on that world and not enough in the 3D. And where that really kind of starts causing problems is that we're not recognizing red flags in the 3D because we feel like we're being intuitively nudged towards things. But please remember, in the world unseen, there are all forms of life forms that sometimes have an agenda, and it is as important to weigh out the 3D as it is that world. Make sure everything exists in a state of balance. It's also, one of the energies on this is that there will be an opportunity coming your way and you're being asked to stop and reflect on it to make sure that it is something that will serve you in the long run. I do love this. Always with the Strength card, we're going to have the infinity sign, which is perpetual motion. All of the eights are about progress and change in a very, like, with a lot of momentum behind it. Because the eights are about speed and momentum and building energy and the momentum shifting in your life. And that's really kind of what I've got here is momentum is shifting in your life, and you're, I'm not going to say you're altered in a way that you no longer recognize, but you're able to act as your best ally, to be your own best friend, and you're careful with your choices. And you're able to examine the ones from the past and recognize maybe the ones that didn't serve you as much as your healthy ones do going forward. And please remember, if you didn't make good choices in the past, don't be hard on yourself. It's almost always from an emotional injury. Everyone does, particularly trauma survivors, struggle with their choices because quite frequently they're in a lot of pain. So if your choices haven't been the best in the past and you've had some destructive habits, know that that can change as you change. Okay, so that was the Spirit Guide Daily for today. This will cross your path when it's meant to. Again, if you want to book me for a private reading, there is a link to my website in the description box down below. That's the only way to book me. Take care, be well. I'll see you next time.